Welders, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. I want to say that this morning, and I want to greet everybody who's maybe up on the East Coast and those who are probably waking up on the Midwest. And I know my folks who do the early hours, they just not getting up in the West or getting ready to move around, about to wake up. And I wanted to put something on your mind because I was asked the question, and people ask me this in different ways all the time. I always hear this: "How you do this? Will they let you do that? But did you check with the codes? Well, what about this? Did you have to give a permit? Well, what about that? Well, how are you doing this?" Listen, people will ask you the craziest questions, but it's cool. You know, of course, I was always taught there's no dumb questions, to a certain extent, but there can be a lot of dumb answers and a lot of, prideful answers. And I want to tell you why and how I do what I do. And I'm going to share a small story with you because this is what happened that changed my thinking, my thinking pattern. So, before I moved to Phoenix, Arizona, I was living in Fayetteville, Arkansas. And I had started a business. I rented a business, a building from a gentleman, older man who actually, I think the guy probably owned a at least a third of Fayetteville. You know, he owned a lot of property, and the guy gave me a good deal on it. We had a retail store in the front. We had a studio and a studio for music and a studio for tattoos in the middle. And then we had a small shop in the back where we did, a little welding. We did, but I only had a small machine, so I didn't even do a lot because I wasn't into it like that. But I fixed a couple things on cars, help my dad and somebody that we had hired, a good old man, a good friend of mine named Mr. James from Mississippi. A good man. I love that old man. Every time I get a chance, if I stop through there, I try to see this old man. Well, anyways, the guy I was renting the building from, excuse me, the guy I was renting the building from told me something one day. I guess it was probably I probably had been there renting the building from about 6 months. And he met me one morning to pay the rent. I was probably like a week behind this one time after 6 months. And he didn't give no issue. He was like, "Oh man, it's okay. Just call me when you're ready." So we came up there. We was talking, and he seen what I had going. He said, "Man, it looks nice, man. I like what you're doing." And he said, "So how things going?" I said, "Man, I'm facing different problems. I'm trying to do this. This person's telling me no. They cutting this. I had to go around this." And he smirked at me and smiled, pat me on the shoulder, looked at me in the eyes. He said, "Son," and actually he wore glasses. They what he did. He pulled his glasses off. He said, "Son, let me tell you something. One thing that I realized in business that made me successful, that I couldn't ask for permission. I had to just ask for forgiveness. Meaning, some things in life you just got to do because some people are workers and you thinking like an entrepreneur and a boss, and they think by a time clock. So if you got to go through them to get something, they going to do it when they feel like they need to do it. Well, I'm going to get to it in a minute. I got a lot on my plate. I push it off. He said that's what people do because they don't see your vision like you see your vision. So sometimes you just got to do it. And if something come up later and they say, "Well, you can't do that like that," I apologize. I didn't know that. Or they be like, "Well, I got to give you a fine, but it's just for this." Oh, I apologize. I didn't know that. I paid a little fine. I still made my money. I still got the license then because they seen I did it, but I couldn't wait on them. He was like, "If you wait on others to to get you to the level you want to get to, you would never get there, son. You just got to get there. Figure out a way to get there. And eventually others will line up with you." So if you really want to know how I grind, how I get my hog on the way I do, that's why. That wisdom that old man gave me that I was paying rent from changed my life because I had to always, I'm from the South, so I was raised to be polite. I was raised to ask, sir, ma'am, miss. I was raised like that. And I thought it was only one way to do it. I thought I had to get it through these channels. And then that's when I realized when you building your success, you used what's going on as a blueprint, but you got to build your own. You see what I'm saying? So don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. Period. If it's righteousness in you, do it. If it comes with you have to apologize because you made a move and they said, well, you have to pay the piper here. Pay the piper. You already won. It's okay. It is what it is. But people ain't gonna have a vision, especially when you're dealing with people that just work and want to clock. Listen, when that time says 3 or 5, they ready to go. When it's Friday, they off. But those who grind and hustle, entrepreneurs or small business owners, corporations, we don't never get off because this is our lifestyle. We work 24 hours pretty much, around the clock. Weekends, we don't have a day, besides when we spending time with our family, but our business is always running. So stop asking for permission to do everything you're trying to do. Stop thinking you got to go through everybody. Stop thinking you got to go to the man and say, please, sir, could you open this door for me so I can step in? Nah, figure out a way to get in there. And then if they see you in there, you probably got some money, so you'll finally look like you belong there. All gone.